diversity is something which has arisen over the last 5, 6, 7 years around lots of things, but especially the makeup and composition of boards. And we're sort of still here. Maybe it's a little less because of politics and other things. But you talk about talent, you talk about money, you talk about connections, why you bring people on boards. Where does diversity sit now, today, in those decisions?
Well, I would say that it's still there. It's not there as strongly, in the last year as it was 3 or 4 years ago. And I think a lot of that had to do with the build-up, the California law, and there was a date at which point that you had to have a certain percentage of women. And so people were, obviously nobody had that. And so there was a big catch-up during a certain period of time. It feels like to me, just when I get calls from recruiters and I talk to people, that they're not just calling me for that reason as much anymore as I felt like maybe it was true earlier on. But I still think when you talk to a CEO, even of a public company, they still believe in it. They may not want to tell everybody that they believe in it. They may not want to give as many paragraphs in the 10K about it, because then they'll get targeted. But they still care about it. They still care about diversity because they think fundamentally people care about, a company cares about that and their team cares about that, and they like to see that at the top, whether that's in the leadership team or the board. So I think it's still there. I think it's just not heralded the way it has been heralded in the past.
Yeah, the way I think about it is, diversity obviously matters immensely. You just don't want to have all one demographic represented. So the way, I've advised CEOs, and we've done this, is let's look harder, right? Just because you just look for, it's easy to find a certain demographic too easily. Just don't keep adding that person to the board. There are incredible people who can be diverse and, matching a wider collection of demographics. It might take a few more weeks, maybe a month more, a couple months more to look. But look harder, then you might have even more of a balanced board here with more additional perspectives, unique perspectives, and more nuanced perspectives, in addition to the core skill set you're looking for in the first place in that board member. So I think, you just got to keep thinking about the importance of what you get from the elements of diversity, not to build a diverse board for the sake of being a diverse board, but make that to be one of the dimensions of the spider graph for saying, that's going to be additive to these perspectives you're going to have, and don't do that don't compromise on other expertise, but just look harder, right? That's the way we think about it in terms of building diverse boards.
Great answer. Oksana?
Very well said. I was just going to say that at the early stage company, the company's got to be pragmatic. When you have a 2-person board, it's going to be a 2-person board. I think as a physicist, the statistics apply to a group, you have to have a sample. So it's very hard to have a diversity in a group of 2 or 3. But I think as you get to a group of 9, I think if I don't think anyone in this room needs the proof, and I think most CEOs don't. I think everything that Krishna and Lynn have said applies with vengeance, because that plainly makes for a better business, and I think that's where everyone could get aligned with. I think, and maybe this is my subsection, but I'm yet to work with people who don't get that point, and that maybe is by choice.
I suspect so.